Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 2. As I said here, I want you to find the local maximum and minimum values of this function, g of x. So, g prime So what are the critical values here? 4x cubed, 4x, x squared minus, I can factor out an x squared. Becomes x squared, and that's x minus 3 equals 0. So either 4x squared equals 0, x equals 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0, x equals 3. As I said, if I'm going too fast, just pause the tape, but I did ask you to do this and come back and check. So my critical values are 0 and 3. So, g prime, no, I'm going to say minus 1 is minus 16, so this is negative here. G prime of, well, 1 is the nicest number here, is minus 8, so this is also negative. And here, g prime 4 is 64, so this is positive. So notice what happens, negative, negative, positive. So right here, at x equals 3, we go from negative to positive, so this is a local minimum. Okay? Now, so there's a local minimum, there's no local maximum. So you're all going, what the heck, what about 0? Well, if you drew the graph of this function, g of x, the original function, goes something like this. You get a minimum. Now this happens to be an absolute because it's a cubic, so it's a quartic, it's going up, it's not going to come down again. This is the lowest possible value. It's the only critical value it has where it changes sign. At 0 here, notice what happens. It flattens out. But it's negative, and then it goes to 0, and then it goes to negative again. It doesn't inverse. It's merely a point. It's merely a possible critical. Sorry, it is a critical value, but it is not a maximum or a minimum. All right. Now, one more. I want you to find. Sorry, stop and look at that. Realize 0 is not a maximum or minimum value. My apologies. Now going on, for f of x equals 2x minus 3x to the 2/3 power, I want you to find the critical numbers intervals of increase and decrease local max and min. All right. So first things first, what are the critical numbers? Now, as I said before, pause the tape, pause the recording, do this, come back and check your work. All right, so welcome back. F prime of x is 2 minus 2/3 times 3x to the minus 1/3. Okay. Now, I was going to say, holy crapola. What are the critical values? Well, the only critical value I can see here, this is 1 over the cube root. So cube root of x can't equal 0, so x can't equal 0, because this does not exist. So that's our critical value. Set it equal to 0 there. And let's see, so 2 and where was I? Yeah, so I talked to myself again. Anyway, so it doesn't exist at x equals 0, so that's one critical value. The other critical value, why did I make this purple? Never mind, getting old. Set it equal to 0 and solve. So 2 minus 2 divided by the cube root of x is 0. So our other possible critical value is here. So doing cross multiplying, cube root of x equals 2 over 2, which is 1. So the other possible value is, technically I'm supposed to cube both sides. So x equals 1 is my other critical value. So 0 and 1. Doesn't exist at 0, and x equals 1. Now, running out of space. Zero, 1. Now, looking at the derivative in each of these sections of parts, f of minus 1, sorry, f prime of minus 1 is 4, so it's positive here. Now, in between f prime 1/2, I got minus 0.52, which makes it negative here. And f prime of 2, I got plus 0.41, or positive. Now I realize I'm going a little fast, but the critical numbers, as we said, are 0 and 1. Intervals of increase and decrease. So it's increasing or the derivative is positive. The slope is going up from negative infinity to 0 and 1 to positive infinity. It's decreasing from 0 to 1. And notice I'm using round brackets because we're not including 0 and 1. Now, what's the local maximum and minimum? The local max is positive. So what's the coordinates of the local max? Well, going from positive to negative, f of 0 is what? Not f prime, f of 0, well, is 0. So 0 comma 0 is your max. And your minimum is f of 1. 2 minus 3, which is minus 1, or 1 comma minus 1 is a minimum. Now, trouble is if you graph that in your graphing calculator, you made your graph kind of big, you might miss that. So, intervals of increase, decrease, critical values, maximum, minimum points. All right, so far so good? Good, review that, and then we're going to go on to the last little bit.